The avoidant doesn't just resist love. They can't stop themselves when the right person flips their hidden switch. There's a switch in the avoidant mind that almost no one ever talks about, not the obvious one that reacts to physical attraction or surface charm. This one is deeper, hidden beneath layers of defense mechanisms and old childhood wounds. When it flips, when it finally triggers, the avoidant doesn't just feel drawn to someone. They become almost consumed by it. They can't think clearly. Their carefully built walls begin to crumble without them even noticing. What makes this so powerful is that they don't understand it. They can't put it into words. One moment, they seem emotionally detached, certain they don't need anyone, and the next, they are awake at 3 a.m., overwhelmed with thoughts of that person. The triggers that bring this change aren't what most people assume. They aren't grand declarations of love or desperate attempts at attention. They are subtle psychological cues that bypass every defense the avoidant has worked so hard to construct. And when you see them clearly, it becomes obvious why some people linger in an avoidance mind for years, while others are quickly forgotten. Avoidants operate from a fundamentally different emotional structure than most people. Their whole attachment system is designed to shield them from the vulnerability intimacy requires. They have spent years, sometimes decades, perfecting the skill of not needing anyone. Their independence is not merely a choice, it is a fortress. Each brick of that fortress was laid during moments when they learned that closeness equals pain, that needing someone leads to disappointment, that emotional expression often brings rejection or abandonment. So they shut it all down. They constructed walls so high that even they sometimes forget what they were guarding against. And yet, here is the paradox that defines their world. The same strategies that protect them from hurt also deprive them of true connection. Deep beneath the layers of deactivation strategies and dismissive stories, the avoidant desires intimacy just as much as anyone else. Their attachment system did not vanish. It went underground. It learned to whisper rather than shout, to hint instead of demand. When certain psychological patterns appear, patterns that meet their hidden needs without triggering their defenses, something remarkable occurs. The avoidant does not simply feel attraction, they feel a compulsion, an almost magnetic pull towards someone that contradicts everything they have told themselves about who they are and what they want. These psychological triggers are not manipulations or games. They are authentic reflections of particular qualities that the avoidant nervous system recognizes as rare, safe, and profoundly valuable. When an avoidant encounters these patterns, their mind lights up in ways that mere physical attraction could never provoke. These patterns offer something the avoidant has been searching for unconsciously their entire life. The chance for connection without losing themselves, intimacy without fear, love without terror, emotional presence without neediness. Nothing fascinates an avoidant more than a person who does not need them. Not someone playing games, not someone pretending to be busy, but someone whose life is rich, full, and complete. Someone whose existence is enhanced by the avoidant rather than dependent on them. This psychological attraction strikes at the very heart of an avoidant's deepest fear, being needed. When they meet someone who wants them but does not need them, who enjoys their company without requiring constant validation, who appreciates their presence without collapsing in their absence, something shifts inside them. The tension eases, the pressure dissolves, the threat of engulfment fades, and paradoxically they want to move closer. Their entire life has been spent fleeing from neediness, from the anxiety of being depended on, and yet, when the conditions are right, when they meet someone who can exist fully and independently, someone whose emotional presence does not suffocate but complements theirs, their defensive systems quietly relax. Suddenly, vulnerability does not feel like a trap, and closeness no longer feels dangerous. They experience something they have long feared: connection without compromise, love without loss, intimacy without annihilation. The avoidance obsession is not superficial. It is not about control or possession. It is the nervous system's recognition that here is someone who provides a rare mirror, someone who offers presence without need, closeness without loss, attention without demand. This realization can provoke a level of intensity that even the avoidant cannot ignore. They feel compelled to think, to reach, to be near, even as their mind reminds them of all the reasons they should keep distance. Their old beliefs about independence, about invulnerability, are challenged in ways they cannot articulate. It is a force that blends desire with respect, attraction with admiration, fascination with recognition. Their own internal paradox unfolds. They want intimacy more than they are willing to admit, yet fear it as if it will destroy them. And when they encounter someone who embodies the right qualities, someone emotionally self-sufficient, grounded, unshakably present without clinging, they cannot help but respond. Their attachment system, buried for years under fear and strategy, stirs. The avoidant does not seek neediness. They do not respond to desperation, but they are drawn magnetically to those who demonstrate stability, autonomy, and a quiet confidence. They are pulled to people whose inner lives are full, who do not require them to complete, validate, or rescue. It is a rare and potent attraction, one that bypasses the avoidant's defenses entirely, and once it activates, it can feel unstoppable. The avoidant may resist, may question, may even deny the intensity, but their nervous system has recognized something undeniable, a chance for genuine connection that does not threaten their autonomy, a possibility for closeness that aligns with their deepest psychological needs. And it is in this space, this paradoxical interplay of desire and freedom, that transformation occurs. The avoidant learns, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, that connection can exist without engulfment, that love can arrive without terror, that intimacy does not always demand surrender. These realizations often unfold subtly through repeated patterns, emotional consistency, and authentic presence. And when the avoidant finally allows themselves to feel, to acknowledge the pull without panic, the result can be extraordinary. They engage deeply. They think incessantly. They become present in ways they never imagined possible. Their walls may never fully disappear, but the space between them and another person can grow fertile and alive. The secret switch in the avoidant brain has been activated, and the avoidant discovers a paradoxical truth. The very thing they feared, connection, can be safe, enriching, and transformative. It is a profound, often overwhelming awakening to the possibility that love, when experienced correctly, can honor independence, protect boundaries, and satisfy the deepest emotional needs without compromising the self. And in this way, the avoidant is not broken, not cold, not incapable of love. They are simply wired differently, shaped by experience and conditioned by fear. Yet within that wiring lies the capacity for profound connection, if the circumstances are just right, if the triggers bypass defense and speak to the hidden longing that has never disappeared, only gone quiet. It is not magic, not manipulation, not a game. It is the psychology of human attachment, the quiet recognition of safety, and the magnetic pull towards someone rare enough to meet a hidden need without threatening it. And once that switch flips, the avoidance world is never quite the same. They may try to resist, they may rationalize, they may retreat, but the pull remains. It is an attraction rooted in authenticity, independence, and respect for boundaries. A pull that does not demand surrender but invites closeness. A pull that finally allows the avoidant to feel desire without fear and closeness without losing themselves. Every time someone has leaned on them, every time someone made them responsible for their emotional happiness, every time someone treated them as the center of their world, the avoidance alarm system has been triggered. Their mind sees dependency as danger. It signals that this person will consume them, smother them, and demand more than they are able to give. So they pull back, they build walls, they create distance, they protect themselves from what feels like the threat of becoming someone else's entire world. But when they meet a person who is emotionally independent, the whole pattern shifts. This person has their own friends, hobbies, interests, and ways to find joy and satisfaction. They don't send constant texts demanding attention. They don't fall into panic if plans change. They don't need constant reassurance. They live a full life, and the avoidant is invited to be a part of it, not expected to construct it themselves. This creates a rare experience for the avoidant: safety, the sense that they can be close without the terror of being swallowed entirely, the ability to care without the fear of being made responsible for someone else's entire emotional world. What makes this dynamic so psychologically compelling is that it allows the avoidant to pursue rather than being pursued. For once, they are not the object of someone else's neediness. They are not being chased. Instead, they find themselves wanting more time, more attention, and more connection from someone who would be completely fine without giving it. This reversal triggers something deep and primal in the avoidant. They begin to pursue. They start to reach out. They initiate plans. They think about this person constantly, wondering what they are doing, who they are with, and why they seem unaffected by the avoidant's usual push and pull. The emotional self-sufficiency of this person creates a scarcity dynamic that the avoidant rarely experiences from the other side. Usually, they are the scarce resource, rationing attention and affection, controlling closeness and distance. Now, they have encountered someone whose attention is not guaranteed, who is not constantly available, and who maintains boundaries and a life independent of the avoidant. And the avoidant finds this magnetic. This attraction goes deeper than simple intrigue or curiosity. It touches something fundamental in the avoidant psyche, the buried desire to be genuinely chosen rather than simply needed. The avoidant has been needed before. People have relied on them to feel worthy, to feel loved, to feel complete. And every time it felt like a burden, a trap, a role they never agreed to play. Being chosen by someone who could do perfectly well without them feels completely different. It feels like desire, not desperate need. It feels like mattering because of who they are, not because they are filling a gap in someone else's life. The emotionally self-sufficient person also demonstrates a skill the avoidant deeply respects: the ability to regulate their own emotions. The avoidant understands the effort it takes to remain balanced, to not seek external validation, to manage one's inner state, and to self-soothe. When they meet someone who shares this ability, it resonates deeply. They recognize a kindred spirit, someone who won't dump unprocessed emotions on them, someone who won't make the avoidant responsible for their feelings. This person manages themselves. They understand that each person must handle their own inner world. This recognition opens a rare possibility in the avoidant: the chance to connect without claustrophobia, to love without suffocation, to be close without losing themselves. This type of person is intoxicating to the avoidant because they address their deepest fears. The fear that love means losing oneself, that intimacy leads to annihilation, that needing someone shows weakness. Here is proof that none of those fears are absolute. Unpredictable unavailability also plays a critical role. Avoidants are used to being the unpredictable one, the person who sometimes responds immediately and sometimes disappears for days. They control the rhythm of closeness and distance, dictating vulnerability and safety. But when they meet someone whose presence is genuinely unpredictable, whose attention cannot be taken for granted, their usual control is lost. This awakens a dormant pursuit instinct. They check their phone more often. They notice when plans fall through. They feel the rare sting of missing someone, a sensation they have spent their life avoiding. This unpredictability creates a mild anxiety that the avoidant is unaccustomed to. Control is central to their sense of safety. They regulate the pace of relationships to manage vulnerability. But when control is removed, uncertainty emerges, and with it, a psychological pull they cannot resist. The unpredictability cannot be constant absence. That would simply be interpreted as disinterest. It must be real, genuine unpredictability. Sometimes this person is present, engaged, warm, and available. Other times they are busy, distracted, or legitimately unavailable. The avoidant never knows which version they will encounter, keeping their nervous system alert and engaged. Consistency feels safe but predictable. Unpredictability creates enough challenge to keep the avoidant invested, curious, and striving. This dynamic mirrors the avoidant's own behavior back at them. For the first time, they are on the other side of inconsistency. They experience waiting, uncertainty, and the sting of postponed plans. This does not breed resentment, it deepens fascination. The avoidant respects independence, priorities, and people who do not rearrange their lives for another. This unpredictability prevents complacency, which kills attraction for the avoidant. If someone is always available, interest fades. Mystery and challenge vanish. But when attention must be earned, when presence is limited, the avoidant remains engaged, invests effort, and shows up consistently. This triggers a subtle competition in the avoidant. Not aggressive competition, but the desire to be valued. When someone has limited time due to other priorities, the avoidant wants to become one of those priorities. They want to be chosen, significant, and appreciated enough to earn that attention. This contrasts sharply with their usual behavior, where they avoid being a priority. But when priority must be earned from someone who clearly has a fulfilling life beyond the relationship, it becomes desirable. The avoidant's psychology is drawn to this because it engages their deepest instincts while protecting them from the burden of desperation. The presence of an emotionally independent, unpredictably available person allows the avoidant to experience genuine desire and longing safely. They can pursue without fear, feel attraction without losing themselves, and engage in connection without suffocation. The dynamic is powerful, intoxicating, and transformative because it activates the avoidant's hidden emotional drives while honoring their need for autonomy. This combination of safety, emotional independence, unpredictability, and self-sufficiency creates a magnetic pull the avoidant rarely encounters. It challenges their usual patterns, ignites their desire, and fulfills the buried need to be chosen, not needed. Over time, it allows the avoidant to explore intimacy without abandoning themselves, to pursue connection without fear, and to experience a love dynamic they have unconsciously longed for but rarely found. The presence of such a person transforms avoidance into engagement, distance into pursuit, and independence into genuine connection. The unpredictable unavailability also creates space, and space is like oxygen for the avoidant. When someone isn't constantly in their face demanding attention, the avoidant can actually start missing them. Missing someone needs absence. It needs not knowing when you will next connect. It requires wondering what that person is doing, who they are with, what they are thinking. The avoidant rarely experiences real longing because people are usually too available, too present, too eager. But with unpredictable unavailability, longing has room to grow. And longing is one of the strongest feelings the avoidant can experience. It bypasses their defenses because it comes from inside rather than being forced from outside. Emotional indifference to their withdrawal. When the avoidant steps back, they expect a certain reaction. They expect pursuit. They expect worry. They expect questions, concerns, and attempts to pull them back. This expected reaction actually strengthens their withdrawal because it confirms their story. People are clingy. Relationships feel suffocating. Closeness always comes with demands. But when they meet someone who responds to their withdrawal with complete emotional indifference, their entire psychological structure gets shaken. This person doesn't chase, doesn't question, doesn't panic, and simply allows the space without turning it into something catastrophic. This response affects the avoidant more than any amount of pursuit ever could. The emotional indifference sends a radical message to the avoidant. This person doesn't need them to feel okay. When the avoidant withdraws and the other person keeps living their life fully, happily, completely unaffected by the distance, it breaks the avoidant's unconscious belief that their presence is essential to others' well-being. This should feel relieving. The avoidant claims they don't want to be needed, but when faced with proof they aren't actually needed, something unexpected occurs. They feel insignificant. They start wondering if they even matter. They begin questioning whether this person cares about the connection at all. This questioning is deeply uncomfortable because it forces them to face their own attachment. If this person is indifferent to their absence, maybe they should stay away permanently. But they don't want to. They realize they care about the connection more than they thought. They realize they value this person's presence in their life. They realize that their withdrawal was a test they expected the other person to fail, and now the past feels more threatening than failure would have because failure would have confirmed their worldview. Passing challenges it completely. The emotional indifference also removes the reward the avoidant usually gets from withdrawal. Normally, when they step back, they get to feel important through the other person's reaction. They get to see that they matter, that their absence affects someone, that they have influence and value. It's a twisted form of validation, but validation nonetheless. When someone responds with indifference, that validation disappears. The avoidant doesn't get to feel significant through their absence. They don't see themselves mirrored in someone else's anxiety. They're just alone with their choice, and it feels empty. This emptiness creates a crisis for the avoidant. They pulled away to protect themselves, to make space, to avoid the suffocation they fear. But instead of relief, they feel nothing, or worse, they feel loss. The person they stepped away from is fine without them, living fully, happily, unaffected by the distance. This triggers a scarcity panic the avoidant rarely experiences. Maybe they're not as important as they believed. Maybe this person won't be there if they come back. Maybe they've actually lost something valuable through their automatic protective patterns. The psychological power of this turn-on lies in forcing the avoidant to care more, to pursue, to worry about the connection. Every relationship paradigm they're used to gets inverted. They're not the distant one anymore because the other person is equally distant, equally unbothered, equally fine with space. The avoidant finds themselves in the strange position of wanting reassurance, wanting to know they matter, wanting some sign that their absence affected this person. These desires feel vulnerable and uncomfortable, but they feel real in a way their usual emotional numbness never does. The indifference also shows strength the avoidant respects deeply. It proves this person won't beg, won't plead, won't compromise their dignity for connection. The avoidant has seen so many people abandon their self-respect to hold a relationship. They've watched people tolerate mistreatment, accept breadcrumbs, degrade themselves for scraps of attention. It repels them, not because they're cruel, but because it triggers fear of becoming that desperate. But someone who stays composed when the avoidant withdraws, who doesn't chase, collapse, or panic, demonstrates a level of self-possession the avoidant finds irresistible. This turn-on forces growth in the avoidant, whether they like it or not. They have to examine why this person's indifference bothers them, They have to face the reality that they actually care about the connection. They have to acknowledge that their withdrawal wasn't really about needing space. It was a test to see if the other person would chase, to confirm their importance. And when the test gives unexpected results, when indifference meets them equally, they must decide. Do they walk away to prove they don't care, or do they come back and admit that they do? Either choice demands honesty they usually avoid, and that honesty, though uncomfortable, opens the door to real intimacy. Mysterious depth. The avoidant gets bored with people who reveal everything immediately. Shallow conversations, predictable answers, open book personalities do nothing for them. But when they meet someone with layers, someone who reveals slowly, someone with depths they can't immediately reach or understand, the avoidant becomes fascinated. This depth creates an intellectual and emotional challenge that bypasses usual defenses. They're not asked to be vulnerable. They're invited to discover. Discovery is something the avoidant can engage with because it doesn't feel like emotional demand. The mysterious depth shows in many ways. It's the person who keeps experiences private. It's the person who surprises them with thoughts or perspectives. It's someone with a rich inner world revealed only in chosen moments. The avoidant wants to know more, to understand, to peel back layers. This wanting is different from being needed. It's curiosity rather than obligation. It's pull rather than push. What makes this compelling is that it engages their mind first, not their heart. The avoidant is more comfortable in intellectual space than emotional space. When someone presents a puzzle, a mystery, they can connect through curiosity rather than vulnerability. They can ask questions because they're interested, not to be emotionally close. They spend time together to understand this fascinating person, not to build a relationship. Intimacy sneaks up while they focus on the mystery. The mysterious depth also ensures the avoidant never feels fully able to predict this person. Predictability kills attraction. When responses are known, interest evaporates. Someone who maintains layers, who surprises months or years into knowing them, keeps attention in ways emotional availability never could. This quality shows that this person has a self outside the relationship. They're not shaping themselves to fit the avoidant. They're not revealing everything to create closeness. They preserve mystery, privacy, and inner life. This attracts the avoidant because it mirrors their need to maintain separateness within connection. The mysterious depth keeps the avoidant slightly unsure where they stand. Not anxiety-inducing, but intrigue-maintaining. They never fully know what this person thinks of them, or how important they are to them, or what is happening beneath the surface. This uncertainty keeps them engaged, thinking, invested in ways certainty never would. Authentic disinterest in changing them. Every avoidant has seen the pattern. At first, someone accepts them, but slowly the push to change them appears. Suggestions to be more communicative, more present, more emotionally expressive. Disappointment when they need space. Wounded reactions to natural rhythms. Each attempt confirms the avoidant's deepest belief. People don't really accept them. People want a different version. People are trying to fix something the avoidant doesn't believe is broken. But when the avoidant meets someone who truly doesn't want to change them, who accepts their need for space, communication style, emotional rhythms, something deep happens. Defenses can lower. They don't have to brace for criticism or demands for change. They can exist as they are without managing someone else's disappointment or frustration. This acceptance feels like water in a desert they didn't know they were crossing. This authentic disinterest is not passive tolerance. It's not someone secretly hoping they change. It's someone who sees avoidance as a style, not a flaw. Someone who respects autonomy, understands that avoidance is different, not broken, and doesn't take emotional guardedness personally. This is powerful because it removes the pressure that usually makes the avoidant run. With no agenda to change them, no expectation to be more emotionally available, communicative, or intimate, the avoidant can breathe. They can show up as themselves rather than who they think they should be. Paradoxically, this acceptance often creates the safety necessary for growth, not because they must, but because they want to. The person who doesn't need them to change shows wisdom the avoidant respects. They understand that humans cannot be changed. They know acceptance is the foundation of connection. They have done their own work to reach a place where they don't need to meet needs by molding someone else. This maturity attracts the avoidant because it shows the person won't become demanding or controlling as the relationship grows. This turn-on addresses avoidance-related shame. Many avoidants carry shame about their style. They've been told they're cold, unavailable, broken, blamed for failed relationships. When someone accepts them as valid, it heals hidden wounds. The authentic disinterest creates a paradox. When accepted fully, the avoidant often becomes more willing to be vulnerable, open, emotionally available, not because of pressure, but because acceptance creates safety. Safety is what the avoidant has been seeking, even while running from the intimacy that could provide it. When someone shows they can be loved without being fixed or transformed, the avoidant glimpses what secure attachment might feel like. And that glimpse becomes irresistible, something they can't stop thinking about, wanting, or moving toward, even as old patterns scream to run.